So our next speaker is Sandi Adams, and she's lovely. And please, everyone, hang out for the music afterwards. We're going to have Sandi Adams speak, and then myself, and then maybe another speaker. And then also, we're going to be going out to the pub afterwards. For those of you that didn't come last time, it's Carpenter's Arms, and it's just down the way at, I believe, 12 Seymour. And they have a lovely outside area, and they have food, and it's a great time to socialize and meet your people, you know what I mean? So Sandi Adams, come on up, Sandi. So since leaving the corporate world in 2009, Sandi has immersed herself in exposing the realities behind UN Agenda 2030 and the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. For the past 16 years, Sandi has been delivering talks to raise awareness about the emerging top-down global governance model and the technocratic systems being built around us. The events of the past 3 to 4 years have been a profound personal revelation for Sandi, underscoring that we are both in a human and spiritual battle for our souls and species, and how we must resist the relentless push towards transhumanism and AI and geoengineering. Sandi has her own podcast, 2030 and Beyond, and a YouTube channel at Sandi Adams 2030. Please check her out online and give her a nice round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, Sandi.
Thanks very much, Matt. Thank you, Matt. That's great. I don't have to say that now. That's wonderful. So he's told you who I am. And I did a really good interview with Matt on my podcast on Friday, but we couldn't get the edit done quick enough. We got the promo out. So look out for that. Sandi Adams on 2030 and Beyond with Matt Landman. That will be out soon. And Matt is just a hero. He's done lots and lots of work. And you know, when I said I would speak here, I got loads of people getting in touch with me saying, oh no, the chemtrails, they're not spraying, it's something else. You know, it's fuel in the jet fuel, it's stuff in the jet fuel. And other people saying, oh, they don't exist at all, you know. Do you know what? It doesn't matter the means that they're doing this. It's a bit like 9/11. Everybody argues about how they did it. Well, they did it. And that's what we have to remember, is that you only have to look up and you can see these trails that are expanding and persistent. And whether you call them persistent, expanded contrails or you call them chemtrails, it doesn't matter. It's happening. And this is why I get really annoyed with the kind of the nitpicking and the I'm right, you're wrong stuff. Because at the end of the day, they want us divided. And it really doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. We're getting the pollution, we're getting the toxins in our bodies and on our crops, and we're seeing it in the sky. And there's no doubt about it, it is dimming the sun. And it's been doing that from, I kind of think it's been doing it from the 90s, maybe earlier. I mean, I know the history of weather modification goes right back to, in England, to Lynmouth in 1952, when the RAF dropped I think it was about the 15th of August, 1952. The RAF dropped silver and dry ice, silver diode and dry ice into clouds in an operation to create rain. And they didn't realize they created rain when they got back to the base station. They all high-fived each other. Woo, woo, fantastic, we did it. They didn't realize they'd killed 35 people because they created so much rain in a short space of time, it washed the whole of Lynmouth, which is a little village in Devon, away. And that only came to light, really, after 50 years, when the D notice was lifted, because it was 50 years, and they interviewed one of the pilots on Radio 4, and he said he has to live with that for the rest of his life. Now, that's, Matt knows more about the history. He can go right back to the 1800s, and we know that they've been mucking about with weather. And I don't want to get into the semantics of how they do it, what they do it with. We know that they're doing it, and it's all part of the bigger agenda of 2030, which is what I'm all about. Now, you know, some people think that 2030 is some sort of benign, you know, some kind of benign thing that is going to save the planet. They call it sustainable development, but it's not. It's global governance, and that's what, unfortunately, we signed up to in 1992, and it was called the Earth Summit, and they created sustainable development. And geoengineering, or call it whatever you like, weather modification, whatever you want to call it, it is all part of the bigger plan of control. And unfortunately, we've got digital ID, we've got behavior management, data centers, and this journey has led me to research from Agenda 21 right down to Agenda 2030. Now, we've got a future where more decisions are removed from the people and placed in the hands of large supranational institutions. Whether you agree with that assessment or not, it's undeniable. Power is becoming increasingly centralized, and what we're seeing in our skies is a big part of that. So how would these persistent expanding trails fit into what I just explained? It's very clear to me that the trails we see, the crisscrossing patterns in our skies expanding, they do block out the sun. They do fulfill the objectives of 2030. They fulfill them through net zero, because at the end of the day, they don't want the sun to get to our crops and to us. And we've got, you know, they want us to have less sun. We know the sun is essential to our health. In days gone by, hospitals used to wheel people out into the sun because it healed them. They don't do that anymore. They used to have big glass houses called solariums. And, you know, lack of sun is detrimental to our health. Agenda 2030 and the 17 goals push for net zero, and it's affecting our farming, our food security. And British farmers face growing uncertainty. Lack of government subsidies are forcing farmers to give up their land to solar farms, wind farms, data centres. It's compromising food production. Huge data centres are being built on green and brown belt land, as well as our land being taken up, as I say, by I don't know why they call them solar farms and wind farms. They're not, they're factories. Farmers need support. The lifting of crippling sanctions on fertiliser and inheritance tax and subsidies. They need help. And we're putting pressure on our governments to help the farmers. Weather modification is being funded in the UK. As that lovely lady, I've forgotten her name before, she spoke about ARIA, A-R-I-A. Look it up. Look up ARIA. It's the Advanced Research and Invention Agency. The UK government established it in 2023. They announced funding for research into climate cooling, marine cloud brightening, reflected aerosol concepts, and inventions intended to reduce solar radiation. They are deliberately altering planetary systems. ARIA openly says 56.8 billion is what they're being funded to explore climate cooling. The public has a right to full transparency before anyone experiments with our skies. This issue is not in the realms of conspiracy anymore. It's real. Just look up. So there's bigger questions here, thank you. Weather manipulation is not simply a scientific issue. It's about a growing belief that we can fix every problem through technological control. Why does this matter? Why does this matter? Because we need solutions, because it's destroying our world. Technocracy is destroying our world. The whole technocratic agenda that brings us digital ID, digital currency, geoengineering, genomic research, all of that. They want all our data in one place so that they can create a completely controlled society, a bit like the Chinese social credit system. All the surveillance that's put into our towns, all of this is part of it. We need solutions, we need transparency, full disclosure of experiments and implementation. We need independent scrutiny, public consultation, independent science, open data, and independent review. The future does not belong to global technocrats. It belongs to informed people like us. We, the people, need this. Our world belongs to us, not the globalists and not the technocrats. We need local food, local networks. We need autonomous parallel systems free from government oversight. And we need to really learn about detoxing. Now, luckily Matt talked about detoxing. He's got an amazing bit on his website that talks about all the supplements you can take. Detoxing is a big part of our journey if this stuff is going to continue to rain down on us. We need supplements that rid the body of toxins and heavy metals. Matt has loads of info on his website. Do look at it. Now, the sky should not be a scientific laboratory. It belongs to God and us. We may disagree about causes. We may disagree about solutions. We will disagree about just about everything. But surely we can agree on this: the future of our atmosphere should never be decided behind closed doors. We have the right to ask questions. We have the right to seek answers. We have the right to protect the natural world entrusted to us. And it's enough good people stand together. No technology is more powerful than an awakened public. Thank you. And please, if you can, subscribe to my website, 2030 and beyond, and look at my X, which is at Sandi Adams 2030. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, we've got to get this out of the realms of conspiracy. We need to put it out there, and we need to get the governments to be truthful and transparent. Freedom of information requests, go for them, because they work. Thank you very much.